How's it going, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I am here today to do a very special edition of B Movies. Be bad or be good. Today we are reviewing the film Groundhog. This film was written and directed by a good buddy of mine by the name of Dave Maggot, better known on YouTube as Dave Maggot. He also did the music for the film. He edited the film. He served as executive producer and producer on the film. This film came out on Boombastic Productions, which is a small B-movie company in New England. Dave fell into it with these guys, and they helped him get this movie out. And I'm glad they did, because it was one hell of a trip. And I mean that in a couple different ways. In the film Groundhog, we have Logan Tanner, who is played by Sam Hayes. He is a cameraman for a local news program. His girlfriend is the reporter. And his girl means the world to him. Everything she is the world to him. They are out at a local park filming a groundhog emergence to see if there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. Leaving there, they get into an accident, and she gets out of the car, walks right into an oncoming snowplow, and it kills her. The majority of the movie takes place 5 years later, where this has really fucked up Logan's head quite a bit. And he's on medication, he's going to therapy, but one day all the stuff in his brain just makes him snap, and he decides to start killing. And what he's trying to do is get to the groundhog, which I find absolutely hilarious, seeing as how the groundhog was a stuffed puppet. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Now, I actually spoke to David Maggot, the director and writer of the film, just to make sure I had some facts straight. I asked him if the groundhog that was used, the puppet that was used, was it intentionally supposed to be a puppet, or was it a puppet because of budget? And it was, and as I thought, and the vibe I got from the film was, it was intentionally supposed to be a puppet. You know, it was just one of those schlocky things that small towns do that, you know, is just for fun. And it is so funny, in this film, the killer, Logan, gets himself a groundhog outfit, and he wears it while he's killing people. He also uses, to kill people, a sliver of the plow that had broken off into his girlfriend. And I thought that was really cool, too. That's his, you know, primary weapon. But he does use other things, especially at the beginning when he first snaps. He snaps while he's at work at his office job. And that's just amazing. It's... well, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but okay. Another thing Dave Maggot, the writer-director, also did is he acted in the film. And he plays a character named Waldo. And I'm going to jump a little bit into pros and cons here, give you a sneak peek into the pros, because he is one of my pros. I like Waldo. He's funny. He is, you know, definitely lazy. That's his character. He's lazy, obviously. And he comes up with probably one of the best pieces of dialogue I've ever heard in a movie. And I'm sorry. As soon as I heard it, I thought it was so funny, and I started laughing. And I came to find out that Dave actually ad-libbed the line right off the top of his head. A fact that really impressed me. The budget for this film is $7,000. And if you ask me, what they did for $7,000 is fucking amazing. This is a true B-movie. This is a movie by a small production company. It's a completely original film. Boombastic Productions put a lot of work into it, and it definitely shows. For $7,000, when I heard that the budget for this film was $7,000, it completely raised my respect level, because what they do with $7,000 is really cool. So I'm going to get into some pros and cons here, guys. first pro is we had a bit of a cameo. James Balsamo is in the film. He's been around the B-movie circuit for a while. He's done some movies you may have watched or may have heard of. One being The Shark Exorcist, which, yes, I know how that sounds, but it's actually a pretty fun movie. Go check it out. So that was cool. I thought that was really cool they were able to get him. I mean, he's not a giant star or anything like that, but they had $7,000 budget. For them to get anybody that had any kind of name behind him, even a small name, is pretty cool. My next pro is some of the gore and makeup effects. I thought were done very well. I mean, there is some parts where you can see definitely that it is makeup put on. But, as I said, once again, for the budget they had, these guys did an awesome job. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. There was one particular scene I didn't like her effects on her makeup too much. But there's a really cool kill scene where the girl gets her face literally ripped off. I mean, the guy uses his hands and rips the skin right off her face. And it looked really cool. It looked really good. There's a scene where he is in his dream, basically. He's seeing his girlfriend, and she is like first in the middle of the bed, then in the ground, and she's, cut off from like the chest up. And her blood and her guts and her entrails are everywhere. And I thought that looked really good. I thought it was really cool looking. Some of the kills in this were very inventive, very fun. I mean, you have a lot of your stereotypical, stabbings and cutthroats and things like that. But some of them were really good. I'm going to give you my favorite kill at the end. But I really enjoyed the kills in this movie. And once again, I can't stress this point enough. For $7,000, they did amazing. Great job, guys. I commend you very much. Dave, you did an awesome job directing this thing. My next pro is that I like the story of this movie. It is intentionally ridiculous. This movie is kind of a love letter to the slashers of the 80s. And part of the story has that bit of camp in it. I mean, after all, this guy in his brain is trying to get to a groundhog that's not even a real groundhog. So, I mean, come on, but it's so much fun. It is a fun story. It was incredibly well written. I really love it. And I love some of the dialogue in the movie. Dave, great job on the writing. Great job on the dialogue. There are some, lines that are here nor there, that, but a lot of that is in the delivery from the actors. And a lot of these actors aren't, professionals. They're amateur actors. With that being said, though, there was the acting of a couple people in particular I wanted to give shout-outs to. There's a character named Dizzy, who is played by Alexandra Capella. And her love interest is a character named Pete, and that's short for Petulia, I think he said. Yes, it's a girl, it's a lesbian thing, whatever, who cares. And she was played by Lilith Astra. I believe I got the name correct. I hope I did. If I didn't, I'm very sorry. I actually found another fun fact for all my juggalos out there. Lilith Astra is actually a huge juggalo. And she's done some of the juggalo beauty pageants, things like that. The juggalette beauty pageants, I'm sorry. And she's at the gathering every year. So if you're there and you see her, and you happen to get a copy of Groundhog, have her sign that bitch for you. I'm hoping she sees this review, because then I would like to connect with her, because that was pretty cool. Get her some of her thoughts on the film. Another fun fact for the juggalos out there is the girl that plays the girlfriend at the beginning of the film, and I'm sorry right now I cannot remember her name. She is also a juggalette, and she is in the Juggalo Island music video. And I thought that was pretty cool too. So, it's kind of nice that they had some juggalos in this film. Fits my channel, right? So definitely, I wanted to give those two particular shout-outs because I really enjoyed their acting. And I really enjoyed the directing part at the end with the sailor kiss. I'm just going to call it that because I don't want to give anything away on the plot of this movie. You know me, usually I do spoilers, but this is a newer movie. And it's a film I want people to watch and experience for themselves. This movie came out, actually did get a theater release in New England in 2017, back in February. And I think that's amazing. And I asked Dave how that felt because, okay, one of the reasons I do these YouTube reviews is I always wanted to be in the movies. I always wanted to act and direct, and I thought I had talent in those areas. But I knew once high school and college were done that that's something that wasn't in the cards for me. And this YouTube thing kind of helps me do a little bit of that. You know, I'm also learning a lot about editing, things like that. But anyways, going off on a whole different tangent. I asked him what it felt like because he's achieved something that, how many people can say they have a movie in theaters that they directed, that they acted in, that they wrote? It's their movie and it made it into theaters. That to me is amazing. Whether it's in one theater or, you know, or it comes out on DVD, that's an amazing feat. The fact that it comes out in even one theater is amazing. So Dave, kudos on that, bro. I'm glad you were able to achieve that, because that's just cool. I'm sorry, once again I lost my train of thought though. You two girls, you did an awesome job. I really enjoyed your acting. And there were some good actors in the whole film. Our main character, Logan Tanner, played by Sam Hayes. Sam Hayes does a great job. I think he's really good. Dave Maggot does a great job as Waldo. There are a couple other characters that I thought were not great actors. And, you know, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So with that being said, let's get into some cons, because there are a few cons in this film. And I told Dave I was going to do an honest review, so I want to put my cons out there. And I hope everybody's cool with the things I have to say. Remember, these are just my opinions. There is a effect shot in the film that really bothers me, and you see it throughout the film. They actually did get some actual blizzard footage and things like that, but they couldn't always film when there happened to be a blizzard, so what they did is they superimposed snow effects over the top of the film in certain areas. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked. You could definitely tell it was very fake. And please guys, I hope you don't take offense to this. I don't want to offend this guy. I don't want to offend Dave because he's a friend of mine. But I am going to give my honest opinion. And I didn't tell him what my cons were either when I talked to him. I didn't tell him my cons. So, but yeah, I did not like that snow effect at all. And I honestly thought that you could have left it out of it completely and we would have gotten the same feel. Because there was enough snow on the ground and it looked wintry enough we would have gotten the same message without the snow effect. My second con is some of the sound effects in the film were a little bit loud. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden, when you do a movie and you have a certain level of, noise and sound, and then you usually get gradual increases or decreases depending on what's going to happen. Or there's a build-up to, like, say, an explosion. There's a build-up to it. There was some sound effects in this film where it was kind of just dropped in there a little loudly. And I kind of didn't dig that too much, but this is a small budget film, so it's an excusable con. And it's a very small con. Overall, it did not take away from my enjoyment of the film whatsoever. My final con for this film is there was some delays during some of the kills on what I call the money shot. Like, there is a kill where the killer actually uses a snow shovel to kill a guy. It's a steel snow shovel. And he picks it up and he goes to, shove it into the guy's stomach. And you see the guy's eyes go really wide. And he goes like... And then it delays. And for just a minute it delays. And it cuts to the guy shoving the shovel down into him. And it did that on a couple kill shots where there was a bit of a delay between the actions. And that kind of decreased some of the satisfaction in some of the kills. But once again, not enough to give this movie a bad rating. A lot of the kills were extraordinarily well done. They were very bloody, which I loved all the blood, because this was, as I said, kind of a love letter to the 80s slasher film. Those are my pros and cons, guys. I'm going to give you my favorite kill in the film. And that is the death of Waldo, played by our director, Dave Maggot. Our killer, Logan, it's when he first goes nuts. It's when he first goes crazy and snaps and decides to kill people. He grabs out of a cup holder a whole handful of pens off the desk. And he jams him down into he jams him down into Waldo's throat, and he just starts turning him, and the blood just starts squirting everywhere. And I just really enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool. There's also another really good scene where this couple is coming into a bed and breakfast, and it's obviously a dirty old pervert with a young chick. But the killer grabs him, Logan grabs him and shoves him into a wall, and slivers of the wall go into the guy's eyes, and that was really cool too. But yeah, that Waldo kill is my favorite. I absolutely loved it. It was an awesome kill. Big kudos to you. I am definitely giving this movie a B good. And no, that's not because I'm friends with the director. It's a fun movie. If you go to get this movie, which I hope you do, I hope you check out this film. Just remember, this is a B movie. That's what this whole segment is about, is B movies. These are upcoming filmmakers. They are trying to learn as they go. They are getting their visions out there. They don't have the big Hollywood budgets. You're not going to get Star Wars. If you go into any B movie expecting, The Grapes of Wrath or Gone with the Wind or something, spectacular, you're going to miss out on some really good footage and some really good movies, because you're going to be sitting there going, oh, all the time. This is a very well done B movie. I definitely recommend it. Thank you guys very much. Peace.
I'm a cannonball, cannonball. I'm a cannonball,